His parents and brother are being charged for the shootings of 7 adults and a teenager, all a part of the Roden family. An attorney representing the Wagner family has said the family will be vindicated. Wagner's brother Jake pleaded not guilty yesterday. Arraignments for the remaining 2 family members are scheduled for tomorrow and next week. It's been almost a month since the election, but one race is headed to a recount. The Athens County Auditor's race will be audited and recounted on Friday morning starting at 9 o'clock. Republican Jill Thompson beat Democrat Dave Owen by just 41 points. That's according to the official results, which factored in absentee and provisional ballots. An automatic recount for local races in Ohio is triggered if the margin of victory is less than 0.5% of votes cast.
Good evening and welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm forecaster Adriana Davies, and today in Athens we did start with a little bit of some flurries, and they stuck around through the evening through the afternoon today. As you can see in our viewer photo, we had a little bit of accumulation this morning on College Green via the WOUB outlet Instagram. I know it's a pretty picture, so go ahead and give us a follow to stay up to date on any news through the WOUB outlet. As for tonight in Athens, we're looking at a low of 19 degrees and some chilly temperatures for the rest of the evening, or the region for the evening. Mostly cloudy skies will persist, and the wind chill might make it a little bit cooler outside than these lows too, so we could see some temperatures dipping into the teens as we move through the evening hours. Like I said, tonight low in Athens, 19 degrees, cold evening, partly cloudy skies, and our winds will start to calm after midnight. So once those midnight hours start to come in, temperatures will stay true to the actual temperatures outside. By 8 p.m., 23 degrees. The wind chill is going to make it at right around 18, so bundle up if you're headed out tonight. By midnight, the winds will begin to calm. We'll see 22 with mostly cloudy skies, and by 4 a.m., 21 degrees, and that wind chill will stay true to the temperature that is outside. I know we will see some warmer temperatures moving into tomorrow, Ben, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Adriana. 2 days after... 2 days after General Motors announced major layoffs, politicians are speaking out. President Trump tweeted today that if tariffs on imported cars and parts were implemented, more vehicles would be built in the country, and GM would not have made the decision to close plants in Ohio, Michigan, and Maryland. Yesterday, Trump proposed cuts of government subsidies to GM. Here in Ohio, Governor Kasich is exploring ways to avoid the closing of the Lordstown plant, and Senator Sherrod Brown also spoke out today. He says a tax bill at the end of this year should address the layoffs. He also called on the president to fix the issue.
I asked the president back in June to intervene in GM. I spoke to him personally. He didn't know about the layoffs that had already happened at GM in Youngstown. I asked him to intervene. I asked him to talk to Mary Barra. He did none of that. Instead, he gave this huge tax cut. You know, I understand how this happens. These companies lobby Congress and lobby the president to get more tax cuts. He followed what they asked him to do, and this 50% off coupon on companies' taxes is bad economics and is immoral, and the president needs to fix it.
Brown also said, quote, Wall Street and its cronies in Washington don't value work. Ohio saw a record low in traffic deaths over the holiday. The State Highway Patrol says 6 people were killed while driving in the state over the 5-day Thanksgiving travel period, the lowest number in 27 years. The travel period began on Wednesday the 21st and lasted through Saturday, November 25th. State troopers also arrested over 500 drivers for operating a vehicle while impaired and issued over 1,500 safety belt violations. Ohio State Senate is considering a bill which would allow ministers to refuse to perform marriages that contradict their beliefs. Named the Ohio Pastor Protection Act, it would make sure that ordained or licensed ministers and religious societies can't be prosecuted for denying their services or property for such marriages. Ohio's House passed the bill in June, sending it to the Senate where it is currently under consideration. As of now, the bill would be specific to religious entities and would not apply to businesses. President Trump says the government could be headed for a shutdown. And Melania Trump is continuing to speak about the opioid epidemic as part of her Be Best campaign. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
Lawmakers are working against the clock to fund several government agencies before they expire on December 7th. Excuse me. At the center of the fight, funding for President Trump's long-promised southern border wall. Omar Jimenez is in Washington with the latest on the funding fight.
A little more than a week. That's all the time Congress has to avoid a potential government shutdown, and there's a big wall in the way. The wall.
We want to finish the wall. We got to get funding from Congress.
And in a new interview, President Trump tells Politico if Congress doesn't appropriate $5 billion for a border wall, he would totally be willing to shut down the government. House Republicans have passed a bill with $5 billion for the wall.
We've seen what is happening along the southern border. I'm hopeful now that that changes and that we can solve this problem and make sure our borders are secure. And everybody realizes our immigration system is broken and that we can solve this problem once and for all.
The Senate, on the other hand, needs Democratic support for the bill, and bipartisan negotiators have only agreed to $1.6 billion for any border wall, nowhere near the president's target.
Secure the border is going to be a bottom line for the president. He's got a $25 billion plan. I don't think he expects to get $25 billion all at once. But he does expect to get $5 billion, like the House authorized, without a bunch of strings attached.
Even aside from immigration, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. There are other measures remaining, including commerce, justice, and science, which encompasses some funding for Special Counsel Robert Mueller's office. In Washington, I'm Omar Jimenez.
If the government does shut down, it's possible the national parks could shut down and the IRS may not be able to process refunds and taxes. President Trump said today that a presidential pardon for his former campaign chair Paul Manafort is not off the table. This comes after Robert Mueller's accusation that Manafort violated his plea agreement by lying to the special counsel. A federal judge has set a hearing for Friday to hear both sides of the story, which could result in the termination of Manafort's plea deal. Cindy Hyde-Smith is now Mississippi's first elected female senator. She defeated her Democratic opponent Mike Espy after a controversial runoff campaign. But a lot of the controversy had been generated by her own words. In one instance, she was caught on camera talking about how she would gladly sit in the front row of a public hanging. And then there was another instance where she was recorded joking about voter suppression.
You can get brutalized, you can get beat up. That's kind of part of this business. We're putting it behind us. We can go forward and we're not looking back.
Just before her victory speech, Cindy Hyde-Smith says that she received a congratulatory call from President Trump, who spent Monday campaigning in Mississippi. First Lady Melania Trump was in Virginia today attending an opioid crisis event at Liberty University. Trump was part of a panel of speakers and gave a speech to kick off the town hall. Other speakers participating in the event were Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen and Secretary of Health and Human Services Alex Azar. Also, there was Diana Hart, whose daughter, actress Demi Lovato, has struggled with addiction. Former Fox News personality Eric Bolling, whose son died in 2017 of an accidental drug overdose, hosted the panel. The First Lady said addiction has taken a hold of the country.
I have visited several hospitals and facilities that are dedicated to helping all who have been affected by this disease, including people who are addicted, babies born addicted, and families coping with addiction of a loved one. What has struck me with each visit is how this epidemic has touched so many people, whether it is because of personal use or that of family members, friends, co-workers, or neighbors. Opioid addiction is an illness that has truly taken hold of our country.
The opioid crisis is part of the First Lady's three-pronged Be Best initiative. The other two areas of focus are the health and well-being of children and social media concerns like cyberbullying. The FDA has approved what could be a breakthrough drug in treating some cancers. It's called Vitrac-V. The drug is designated to fight a specific genetic mutation in some forms of cancer, and it comes in an easy-to-take capsule or in liquid form. Doctors say some patients, including children, have seen remarkable turnarounds, but they warn it doesn't work for all cancers, and it is expensive. The wholesale cost for the children's syrup is $11,000 for a month's supply, and the oral capsules for adults wholesales for $32,000 per month. But with insurance, most patients would pay $20 or less for a 30-day supply of the medicine. See the rescue of a deer trapped on a frozen lake. That story's still ahead.
And we're talking about a warm-up for the weekend with rain chances to follow. We'll talk about that and more up next on Newswatch. Now here's a look at stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
I love PBS because at the heart of everything PBS does is education.
I use PBS not only in my home, but also in my classroom.
It's kind of the idea of being the great equalizer for learning and for education.
I'm a lifelong learner, and PBS has always been part of that journey for me.
I love PBS because PBS supports teachers.
They know what works for kids and what's best for kids, and that's why I love PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
Welcome back from the break. I'm Adriana Davies, and today in Athens we saw a high of only 28 degrees, and you can see our normal for this time of the year is 49, so we're sitting about 20 degrees below average for this time of the year. We will see a warm up as we move into the weekend, but you can take a look at our lows right around average as well. So we will see, like I said, a warm up into the weekend this weekend. As for tonight in Athens, though, we're going to stay relatively low. 19 degrees is forecasted for our low in Athens, 22 over in Columbus, 21 up in Newark, and then 23 down in Ripley. Mostly cloudy skies for most of the area. We will see a calm wind after midnight, but winds will persist and be a little bit gustier before midnight, making that wind chill feel a little bit cooler outside than it actually is. Like I said, 19 degrees tonight in Athens. Cold evening, partly cloudy skies, and after midnight we will see those calm winds, which will make the temperature feel true to what it actually is outside. Our overnight hour by hour for Athens by 8 p.m., 23 degrees, that wind chill right around 18. So the winds will stay gusty into the evening hours if you're out and about. Keep that into an account. The wind chill just means that your skin will feel 18 degrees while it might actually only be 23 outside. By midnight, we'll see 22 degrees, the wind's calming, and then by 4 a.m., 21 degrees with that wind chill at 21. So that will be true to the actual outside temperature. As for our tomorrow high, 39 degrees in Athens. We're warming up. We're looking at a nice warm up for the weekend as well. 42 down in Ironton, 36 up in Newark. Mostly cloudy skies for the day tomorrow. So it will be relatively nicer than it has been. Overcast with winds from the southeast at 0 to 5 miles an hour. Still below average for our highs, but we will see average temperatures as we move into the weekend. As for our tomorrow, hour by hour, 8 a.m., 26 degrees with that wind chill at 22. By noon, 34 with a 28 degree wind chill, and then by 4 p.m., 37 degrees, and that wind chill still below the actual air temperature outside. So our precip cast, we're taking a look at high pressures in our areas for tomorrow, but that will start to move out of the region into tomorrow night with some rain chances beginning to increase for the western part of Ohio, and then we'll see that rain start to move into our area by Friday, and then into Friday night, we're just going to have a mess of rain and mixed precip, even possibly into the evening hours, but that rain will persist. As for our 7-day forecast, I am looking forward to these nice temperatures for the weekend. 39 degrees for tomorrow as our high, 49 on Friday with those rain chances increasing, and then Saturday we're taking a look at 57 degrees, but that 80% chance for rain, 60 for your Sunday, and then we're going to cool down as we move into the weekend, or into the work week next week. Ben?
Thanks, Adriana. Hunters always have plenty of stories about the deer they shot or the ones that got away. But a few hunters in Pennsylvania had the chance to save an 8-point buck from a frozen lake. And it was all caught on camera. Jim Hamill has the story.
You may not be able to hear it in this video from Saturday at Greeley Lake near Hawley, but you can certainly see the struggle this 8-point buck was having on the ice. Photographer Jeff Seidel had his lens trained on the animal and shared this video.
He must have made it out that far, just happened to slip for whatever reason, fall, and then wasn't able to grasp his footing to get back up.
Josh Davis and Ed Schmalzy wondered what they could do about the stranded buck. The deer was out there, far out there, and the ice was thin.
I wouldn't want to see the deer suffer. I mean, I am a hunter, but I do think there's a giant difference between an animal being harvested humanely and one being left out to die on the frozen ice.
No one was really sure how long that buck was out on Greeley Lake on Saturday. Nonetheless, they ran over here to Camp Shahola, grabbed one of these boats, and started a rescue effort that took a lot of time and a lot of care.
Even with the boat distributing my weight, the boat was still cracking the ice some.
You could see Davis finally reach the deer, lasso him, and bring him back to shore before the animal ran off.
If it wasn't for him, the deer might have been laying out there yet.
There's still some rope along the lakeshore from the rescue, and a sense that these hunters did what they could to help a helpless creature.
If somebody did happen to get him on Monday, that's also feeding a family, whereas opposed to him just sitting out there and going to waste.
And people don't realize that just because hunters go out and kill, that they're not humane or they don't have those feelings about animals and the environment or anything else, you know. So that's the way we are. It captured who we are.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nick Orsini. The OHSAA released Division III and IV All-Ohio teams, and there were plenty of names in our coverage that received awards. Plus, the Ohio men's basketball team welcomed Iona to the Convocation Center and took care of business. Highlights from that and more when Newswatch returns. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Box. This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS. We're with you for life.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Nick Orsini. The OHSAA released the Division II and III All-Ohio teams, and both were filled with players in Gridiron Glory's coverage. A total of 31 players in our coverage were named to either first, second, or third team, all offense or all defense, or special mention. Division II was represented by 6 players from Tri-Valley and 4 from Chillicothe. Gridiron Glory Player of the Year Ethan Heller added the Division III Offensive Player of the Year trophy to his already impressive season, and to no surprise, he was joined by a lot of his fellow generals, including Jacob Rhodes, Nick Rinaldi, Cole Casto, and more. Jack O'Rourke from Hillsborough took home the Division III Coach of the Year, and his team was well represented with 6 players. Clay Davis from Athens received third team offense, and congratulations to all who received awards. Another awards list was announced today, the All-MAC teams. 9 Ohio Bobcats were acknowledged for their accomplishments this season for the 8-4 Bobcats. Joe Lowry and Joe Anderson received first-team All-MAC offense, as well as Poppy White and A.J. Ouellette. On defense, Javon Hagan and punter Michael Fargus were recognized. Quarterback Nathan Rourke found himself on the second team behind Buffalo quarterback Tyree Jackson, who won Offensive Player of the Year. Darrell Wood and Evan Crouch rounded out the second team for the Bobcats. A team-high 20 points from Jason Carter and a career-high 18 points from Ben Vanderplas propelled Ohio to an 89-65 victory over the Iona Gales last night in the Convo. Both Iona and Ohio struggled from the field through the first 5 minutes. The Bobcats shot 2 of 9, while Iona shot 4 of 9. Tavion Kirk added 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in 32 minutes of play, and Ohio pulled away, outscoring Iona 46-28 in the second half. The Bobcats return to action on Saturday with a matchup against the Marshall Thundering Herd, and tip-off is set for 3:30 p.m. The Mid-American Conference announced its 2018 Field Hockey Academic All-MAC team today. The Academic All-MAC honor is for student athletes who excel in athletics and academics. To qualify for this award, a student athlete must have at least a 3.2 GPA and have participated in at least 50% of the contest for that particular sport. A total of 67 student athletes were named to that list, and 7 of those were Bobcats. Claire Buckley, Amy Edgerton, Emma Eggleston, Anne-Marie Hoppel, Alex Pennington, Emma Spinato, and Leah Warren all met the criteria for the award. Now, there was just one high school basketball game in our coverage last night, but it came down to the final shot. The Trimble Lady Tomcats hosted the Wellston Lady Golden Rockets, and Trimble only has 10 women on their roster, 8 of whom are freshmen. Both teams were neck and neck all game. Wellston appeared to pull away with an 8-0 run in the fourth quarter, but Trimble fought back with 6 seconds left. Jane Six got the ball in the post, off the glass, and in. That's your winner. 60-58, Trimble wins. The Lady Tomcats begin conference play Thursday when they host Waterford. And tune into SportsBeat tomorrow on 1340 AM WOUB. Hosts Lucas Moore and Russ Heltman talk the Trimble Tomcats' chances for a state championship title. Plus, Ted Raddick from the Findlay Courier calls in to talk about Trimble's opponent Macomb and the reaction from the All-MAC Awards. Don't want to miss this one. It's going to be a good one. 6 p.m. tomorrow, 1340 AM WOUB. Well, that's a wrap for me and for sports tonight. I'm Nick Orsini. Ben, back over to you.
Thank you, Nick. Holy cow. A cow named Snickers may be the largest steer in Australia. The enormous Holstein Friesian stands at 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighs 1.4 tons. A photo of Knickers went viral on social media, and it turns out he'll be around for a bit longer. Knickers will be avoiding slaughter. Owner Jeff Pearson says the cow is too heavy for the slaughterhouse. Knickers will spend the rest of his time on a farm in West Australia.
And holy cow is right, Ben. That is a big cow. But for tonight in Athens, we're looking at 19 degrees as our low with a wind chill that's going to make it feel a little bit cooler than that. But after midnight, our winds will be calm. A cold evening ahead for us here in Athens and for most of the region as well. Tomorrow, our high is 39 degrees. This is still below average for this time of the year. With overcast skies, southeast winds from 0 to 5 miles an hour, it will be a little bit warmer than it was today. And taking a look at our 7-day forecast, there is a chance for rain as we move into tomorrow evening. And looking at Friday, 49 degrees with that rain chances beginning to increase as well. A wet weekend ahead, 57 degrees, a little bit warmer than it has been these past few weeks here in Athens. Ben?
Thanks, Adriana. I'm Ben Schwartz, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Ben Schwartz. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can always find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.